that game was because of their team fights and their communication, all right? Keep in mind, Alternate have had 1 million hours and 5 million games to improve on their teamwork and the communication, and we'll see if they can pull it out in this match.
So the picks and bans before, let's have a look at those. Castin, Vayne, Shen were banned out by Alternate. Well, Castin, Zach, Vayne this time around. Ezreal, Orianna, Shen this time. It was Ezreal, Orianna, Thresh last time. So pretty close picks and bans. Sure enough, Lee Sin has got through. Arane will be taking that one. Vi has not been working out well for him.
2 points to that. Lee Sin is not only locked in because Vi has been... Hasn't worked. I'm going to choose my words, and denying it from Hercubot. Taking that away from him. Hercubot did, however, play Vi against NIP, and he made it work a little better because of the composition NIP had built around. They only had a smaller number of threats to deal with, and it worked pretty well for him in that regard.
Kevin looking like he's going to be locking in Thresh for Nif. Discussions going on right now, Hercubot waiting to see which champion is going to go with. Only 8 seconds, the pressure on this game, the pressure on the line.
Zed, maybe.
Well, Zed's a possibility. Remember, though, SK, when they got to the Season 2 playoffs, nobody counted them. And yet they pulled out surprises. Can they pull out another surprise here?
In the regionals last year, when they were qualifying for Worlds, it was Arane's Alistair that actually did work against Evil Geniuses. He stole buffs consistently. I distinctly remember a level 1, stroll up to blue buff, smite it, and strolled out. There was very little posturing or fighting there, and this time around, we'll have to see how it works.
Look at that. Lissandra has been locked in. Will it be Curb or will it be Pharrell Lord? Will it be the return to week 1 where everything was so rosy for Alternate? They were 5-0. It was the perfect week for them, but they've gone 0-5 this week, and it's been a disaster. Elise looks like it has snuck through, and that's a long time for Elise to get through.
I was just about to say that. With Elise going all the way down the list, it's a very unique situation, because that's really been the #1 sort of pick or ban. I also want to highlight that Fizz is still open and available, and that could give a lot of trouble to Foreign Lord's potential Lissandra. But as we do see, Ocelot decides to lock in Karthus. He's had some very good games as Karthus this week, but it was comboed with Nif's Zyra. They had a lot of CC to hold them in place and allow Defile to do the damage.
So we'll see whether that actually gets picked, but Thresh already out there,
exactly. So it's just a different combo, and I think that it's slightly less effective when paired with this current setup. However, that Twitch and Thresh is something that we see out of TSM. They do a lot of damage in lane, allow Requiem to close up, and we didn't really see it from SK earlier in the weekend. Maybe this is the time to do it.
Are we going to see Ashe and Zyra?
Varus is locked in already, so I'm having a moment. It's been a long day, and there's going to be. We got to shake off the rust, because it's just a few
I'm ready, guys. I'm ready. Just wind me back up. I'm ready to go.
Get the oxygen pump plugged into the back, and we'll get this going.
Ari locked in. It's going to be Curb on Lissandra in the top lane. Guys, I am good to go. It's all good. I know what's happening now.
So Ari against Karthus, that's a good pick. That'll allow Foreign Lord to sort of run circles around Ocelot, manage to just negate the wall of pain, and that may mean that Ocelot wants to put himself in a different lane. He may not want to go head-to-head against Foreign Lord. However, if he's feeling strong, if he's feeling confident, he may just say, I'll take it. I got this. I'll take this one on the chin.
And now Kevin's start thinking, who am I going to play? To go against Lissandra or a Necton? He's going to go beefy to try and counteract the damage that will be coming out almost certainly. Don't want to dash in against the Crocodile.
So this is a slightly weird pick. I wasn't quite expecting the Renekton here from Kevin. I can understand the thinking behind it. You've got a very bruiser, tanky, beefy front line of that Renekton and Vi to basically protect and try to zone for Karthus and for Twitch. But against a Lissandra who should be able to get away as long as Kerp is on form with his Claws of Doom, then he's never really going to be in kill potential. But I think this could be a slower paced lane for either the 1v2s or the 1v1s if we see it from these teams.
I kind of fear for SK here myself. I feel Alternate have got a very strong team, a team that they are very comfortable on. And if you remember the interviews back with Arane, he always said, we are better when we play champions we feel confident on, feel comfortable on. Champions we play all the time. Yeah. They have champions they play all the time.
Yeah, and it's something that we've seen them be successful with during the split as well. Something that, you know, we talked about. It's almost poetic that Alternate started week 1 going 5-0, and in week 9 goes 0-5, yet still find themselves in a playoff spot, in a position where they can do or die to actually get that berth into the playoffs. And it's a composition that we've seen from Alternate before, these same champions time and time again throughout the split. So the pressure is on SK Gaming to make something happen, to make sure that they come out swinging in this matchup.
Well, you can see the temperature is definitely rising. The pressure on Ocelot right now. The captain of SK Gaming, he's brought his team valiantly through. They were 3-0 at the start of Super Week. It was all going so well. But today has not been the day for SK Gaming. Will it slip away from them, or will Alternate manage to get in there? Kerp, you can see the man with the trackball. Maybe the hardware issue could be a problem. We're not going to go down that route because the pressure in this situation is serious, ladies and gentlemen. It is a place in the playoffs at Gamescom in just a couple of days' time. That's why these matches have to be played. They have to be played tonight. There is going to be 6 games. Alternate versus SK will be the first. Following this, it is going to be, I believe, Fnatic versus Ninjas in Pajamas. They were the first. I
do think it's NIP on blue side versus Fnatic on red, if my memory serves me.
Yes,
but
I believe so.
We'll get to that in a second, because right now, this is the game to determine who gets to go home tonight amidst tears and who gets to go home tonight amidst beers, because Alternate, they definitely want that spot in the playoffs. They definitely want to show the world what they can do, because unfortunately this weekend, they simply haven't done it.
So the US presidency, they chant 4 more years. The LCS fans were chanting 6 more games. I can tell you the production crew may not have been sharing your attempts, but nevertheless, we are excited to have a lot more LCS action. And more importantly, some very fierce rivalries being reignited. The fact that Gambit will be facing against Evil Geniuses. There's so many rivals here.
It's a matchup everyone's looking forward to, but right now, the SK blue buff is happening. This is the same blue buff that blue buff invade they have been doing all split long. As a group, they move in around the 1:20 mark, they put a ward down, and they back away. Sometimes they follow that back up with an invade, and what you've got to keep your eyes on here is how Aranea picks his routes. If he takes red buff and goes straight to blue with a lane swap, it may be the same mistake that Snoopy made against Gambit, which SK may be looking to capitalize on.
So here we go. No invades by the looks of it. It's going to be a slow and steady start. Just remember the pressure on these guys. And I saw you guys talking about when we were saying how tense the last few matches have been. And everybody's saying, oh, it's just, they're just playing bad. You don't understand the pressure that these players are in. This is their life. This is their job on the line right now. This is not just a game you and your buddies are playing, getting together on some sort of communications and say, guys, we're going to do a rank 5v5. This is their job. They get paid to do this for a living. If they get knocked out of the LCS, they're potentially looking at basically some new job. That is it. A career over.
Right now you see Nev playing very, very aggressive, but he's been rooted up.
Been caught out. Will he try and turn it back around onto us? Kratos. Barrier used very early on there. The exhaust onto Candy Panda, but the damage is coming back. Tries to use the expunge, but really didn't have a great deal of damage there. Very low, both lanes in the bottom.
They managed to get the barrier out of Creatine, so if Nif gets a good death sentence down, they may have enough damage to kill Creatine, who's sitting at about 310 HP. Nif is posturing around the corner. Look for the death sentence.
Goes in, gets the flay. That's going to be a great grasping route. They're going to try and turn this one around. There's first blood. Candy Panda on towards him. He has got barrier still available, so they couldn't even turn it around. The aggression was there. Candy Panda won out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nif and Candy Panda, they baited that first fight to get the summoner spells down. And when they realized they had won the trade because they got more summoner spells, it was so clear that Nif just wanted to land some crowd control. If, however, they stick around, Aranea has got the execute ability on that Sonic Wave resonating strike. If he can land it, there may be kills in play, as here comes Lee Sin.
Grasping route onto Candy Panda. Aranea tries to come in, but a brilliant flay comes out from Nith. He tries to throw the death sentence out. That would have been the clutchest of moves. But SK Gaming, they take the hint. They back off.
Aranea landed the Sonic Wave on a minion. He didn't catch the champion, and that allowed Candy Panda to get away. But Summoner Spell was blown. There's no barrier now on Candy Panda, so at the very least, he got something from it, but he did trade his flash as well.
So let's take stock. 4 minutes in, Vampire Acceptor being picked up by Candy Panda. Meanwhile, Kratos had to come back All he got was a health pot, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big advantage in the bottom lane for the Rat, for SK Gaming, already building. This top lane, we haven't really had a great deal of discussion about it. We haven't had a chance to because it's been all action down that bottom. Kevin on Renekton up against Kerp on Lissandra. Lissandra's a champion that's worked so well throughout the European LCS, but the last few weeks has definitely fell out of favor.
Yeah, and it hasn't been successful, mostly because of teams learning how to deal with Lissandra. Part of her high success rate early on was nobody knowing what the answer was. Nobody knowing how to deal with the Ice Queen. Now teams are figuring it out. Kevin feels the answer is with the Crocodile, and you can see he's doing well. He's keeping up in CS, and he's using that Cull the Meat to keep himself as sustained as possible while hitting those minions.
And Renea waits in the bushes, waiting to jump onto his old team captain, Ocelot. Will he kind of bait him out here? He's certainly giving up a lot of experience in this delay.
If a charm does not land on Ocelot, there's not a massive amount of kill potential, as Forelinor is not level 6, nor is Aranea. So they have no way to lock him down. Luckily for Aranea, there's no jungle camps in the bottom half of the map. So yes, he's losing out of potential XP, but there's nothing that's actually farmed. So he's just waiting for the next camp to respawn, and he can clear it out.
So we're refocusing back on this bottom lane. Nif, who made everything work last time around, trying to keep the pressure back onto Kraton. You can see SK clearly in control in this bottom lane now. Alternate definitely taking their time this time around. Don't want to force anything from SK. The fact that that Vampiric Scepter is on, there's a double Doran's Blade now for Kraton. Has got a bit more hit points, but the pink ward has begun.
Yeah, and crucially, because Candypan has got the Vampiric Scepter built up, he's going to be able to out-sustain. He's already sitting on 14% Spell Vamp to the 4%, lifesteal, to the 4% lifesteal of Kraton. So it's just going to keep him a little bit healthier, a little more topped up. And you can see how passive and defensive Kraton and J-Re are playing. They're really too scared to engage that big deficit in attack damage.
I've heard it really talked about, the fact that the rise of Twitch, the fact that he's got back in there, but there really isn't too many weaknesses to his play right now, certainly in the 3.10 patch. Yes, he hasn't got an escape, but he's got the flash, of course, in there. But as an aggressor, he is all up front in damage.
Yeah, he's very strong early on, and you can actually see that Candypan in this particular game, he's gone with flat armor penetration on his rune. So it's 17 and then 8% on top of that. Whereas Creatin's gone for the more traditional attack damage. And basically that just allows Candy Panda to deal more damage at these early stages of the game before any armor is built up. We are once again seeing a triple Doran's Ring coming out for Kerb. It's been his trend all weekend long. He just likes that early surge in power.
So let's discuss this middle lane. We haven't really looked at it, but Ocelot is winning it out right now. He has that CS advantage, 10 CS already. This is the first back from Forellenlord. Ocelot's actually been back board and come back to lane, and he's still winning out the CS.
So, in terms of the actual matchups, up until level 6, Ocelot's caught!
Just as I sing his praises, gets caught out. Kerp comes up from the top lane. Aranea joins the party, and on the tower, he gets destroyed.
Yeah, Ocelot wasn't ready for that, nor were we, because it was the top lane and the jungler in the mid lane. They managed to come up, land the Frozen Tomb, and pick up the kill. And what I was trying to highlight is that up till level 6, Karthus actually can do very well against Ahri. He outranges Ahri. The Wall of Pain is significantly more impactful when Ahri doesn't have her ultimate. And his low-level farming with those little skittles, those lay wastes, are much more powerful than Ahri's Orb of Deception, as she does need levels and ability power to clear the waves.
We should talk about the big advantage of Forellenlord gains from that, because he has Flash Ignite available, yet Ocelot used his Flash Exhaust in that last engage. So he's going to have to be very passive against Forellenlord now. Let's see how it works out, but down the bottom, Requiem is going to come out. Kraton with the barrier, and now Candy Panda's in all sorts of trouble because Aranea joins the party. Nif is going to try and get over to this one. He wants to get the kill, he gets it, tries to turn back around. The flay's not going to work out. The grasping roots was there. It's a double kill for Aranea, but nevertheless, they got Kraton down. Back in the mid lane, we see Assault and Battery on towards Forellenlord, slams him back down. Not going to get the kill though. Ocelot's already used the Requiem, so nothing to follow up with.
Flash and Ignite used by Forellenlord in the mid lane, and he actually saved his second and third charges of Spirit Rush until after Hercubot's Assault and Battery slammed him into the ground. So realizing the threat and the potential, death area, we were talking about how the Karthus Twitch combo really works, and at the laning phase, what you allow Candy Panda on Twitch to do is deal a lot of damage, get the expunge down, and try to clean up with Requiem. But unfortunately, it backfired as Aranea was in the area. Thanks to the kill that Kerr picked up and those triple Dorans, Kevin's now falling behind in CS.
He's definitely building up an advantage there. He's got the Spectral Cowl on him. He's trying to win out and beat out that lane. We'll see whether Kevin sticks to doing that. You know, we questioned his play, honestly, from the Malphite in the previous matchup. We wondered why he went in against Ninjas in Pajamas. Pressure, that's simply all it is. The tense pressure. Kevin's been Mr. Consistency for SK Gaming, but in moments of intense pressure like that, when you see the situation, you get that bloodlust, sometimes you don't do things correctly.
Yeah, once the red mist takes over, it's very, very difficult to contain it, especially when there's so much on the line. And, you know, we thought that the NIPSK game was high intensity. This is 1,000,000 times higher, as whoever loses this could be out of the LCS, because they do have to re-qualify in the promotion series. But we're a little ahead of ourselves, as both these teams are very, very close. It's only about 600 gold separating Alternate and SK, and it's actually Alternate who've been able to bounce back from the early first blood and get themselves an advantage.
So the top lane, we do see Vi making moves towards that top lane. Vi didn't work out too well for Aranea, and so far, again, I'm not convinced by Herkybots.
So in this particular match, it's a little less awesome of a pick, whereas against NIP it worked well. Against Alternate, there are so many mobile champions that even after you hit the Assault and Battery down, champions can still escape. You can see that Aranea was camping in the bottom lane. He's still waiting. Now that double golems are up, he's going to go farm those, and he'll still come to the bottom lane to set up a gank, as he's so close, and there's no other camps or objectives to fight for right now.
2 wards from Ocelot there in both the top and middle bush, bottom bush of the river. So making sure he keeps full vision of Ferelnord, and making sure, more importantly, that Aranea doesn't come popping out the bushes and give him troubles. Build Order Cut, this was completed by Candy Panda in the last back there. We are seeing Jerry potentially going aggressive. Aranea came in, not really going to follow it up though.
He's got his Flash Dragon's Rage. If Nif and Candy Panda had been a tiny bit further forward, he would have definitely followed up that Q, kicked somebody back, and then followed that with a Stranglethorn. So at this point in time, that's going to be Aranea's way to initiate and way to pick a fight, and I actually think that Creator and Jerry are trying to bait SK forward.
Yeah, they're trying to get Nif back to go aggressive. Aranea had gone up towards the dragon, had not left them though. Seeing if they could bait them, Jim pull them out. Hercubot is waiting in the wings. At the moment, though, I'm looking at Ferelnord. He's heading up the top. He's warding up the red buff. He's going in. They have gone on towards Nif, though. That's going to be Chain of Corruption. Popped in. Assault and Battery comes out. Requiem's going to follow. Aranea kicks Hercubot away. There's not really anything to follow up the damage here for SK Gaming. And that was a clean assassination.
SK's bottom lane of Candy Panda and Nif should have told Ocelot to not use Requiem. It was very clear that Nif had simply got caught and he was going down, and there was no follow-up from the rest of SK. So unfortunately, that cooldown is now unavailable as Ocelot's charmed.
Ocelot's charmed, but he has exhaust available, uses that Defile, and manages to survive. Spirit Rush from Ferelnord simply gets him in and out. Hits and run, and not really going to get a kill from this one time around. Ocelot back to farming safely on his turret. CS-wise, still very tight between them.
Yeah, it is still very, very close, but I feel like in this laning setup, alternate solo laners have the advantage. Because of the range that Lissandra has over Renekton, it should give Kerp the advantage as he starts completing more and more items. And similarly, Ferelnord's Ari is very strong against Ocelot's Karthus. So the sooner SK can get some towers and start pushing some 5v5 fights, I think the sooner they'll be able to claw back an advantage.
So, top lane, let's look at that one. We haven't talked about it a great deal. Kevin, I've got that Spectral Cowlands continue to try and get that farm going. He has gained a little bit of momentum against Kerb, but Kerb still has that advantage. You can see now he's got the Seeker's Arm Guards along with those triple Doran's Blaze he had and the Crystalline Flask. Still quite ahead. The fact that he got the kill on Ocelot early on as well does mean he has full control. He's not too worried about Kevin. Kevin's probably going to be building up a Sunfire Cape. Looks like he's got the beginnings of it there with the Giant Spell. Just simply wants to get that hit points, get himself that farming going. Look at Ferelnord being so aggressive on Ocelot here. Not really giving him the time of day on the charm. There it is. The charm comes in. Spirit Rush follows on. Ocelot is going to get taken down. Got kicked onto the tower as well. That will be a safe escape because Requiem was used earlier on in the bottom lane.
Yeah, it needed to be called by Candy Panda and Nef. They needed to tell them not to use it. And a very good combination there of Aranea and Ferelnord secures the kill even with that CC in the mid lane. And you were talking about Kevin and how he's going to impact fights. I'm so interested to see because Kerp, mobile, going to dive the back line, not going to care about Kevin. Aranea, same story. Ferelnord, same story. If the three of them want to dive and try to pick up kills on Ocelot or Candy Panda, they're just going to run past the Crocodile. He's got one single target stun. What are you going to do against three champions that can quite literally fly around the map?
I'm so divided on this game. You've got Alternate who pretty much led throughout the whole of the summer LCS. You've got SK Gaming, who had a great third-place finish last season in the spring split, managed to get to the Season 2 World Finals. It's Old Guard versus New, and at the moment, the New is winning out. 5-2 up in kills, 2,000 gold up, and looking like they may well take the first turret. That middle turret has already taken a lot of damage. This bottom one is where the focus is.
Aranea, however, has come in from behind Candy Panda and Nif. He's got a side stone, and he's looking to kick someone.
Not going to happen. Walk straight away from that one. They were ready and waiting. Didn't pass a ward. That was simply the spider senses.
And Candy Panda was forced to flash away from Jay Ree's grasping roots. I think he noticed or felt that something was very fishy from Creatin's and Jay Ree's aggression, and he just flashed away. But once again, flash down, rinse and repeat. Aranea can probably set up a gank.
Look how deep, actually, Ocelot is. Where's he going? I'm going to look towards him. He's not backing off. He's just farming out the raid. So staying well away from his tower, keeping those raids, trying to keep some sort of semblance of an advantage, which he has built up in terms of CS, but he's down on those 2 kills. One of them being picked up by Ferelnord, the other being picked up by Aranea, who is having a great game. Back on Lee Sin, 3-0-2.
And there's 2 things I want to highlight about that. First of all, Aegis of the Legion has been completed for Aranea, so he's going to be working himself towards that Locket of the Iron Story soon enough, and that'll help against Requiem and against Dominus, which will come out from Renekton. In addition to that, and Zhonya's Hourglass is already completed for Kerp, so anytime Requiem's coming down in the next couple of minutes, that's just going to be sorted out. There's nothing to really worry about for him. Rockmanus goes out, doesn't catch anybody, but Hercubot is looking to set something up.
Mid lane, Ferelnord and Aranea are just actually bullying Ocelot. They didn't go aggressive on him, they just walked towards him, walked towards his tower and said, yeah, you want to fight? No. Ocelot had to back away, couldn't take it, can't go aggressive against them.
Well, there's 2 things you have to highlight about that. First of all, even with 2 deaths to his name, Ocelot is still even on CS with Ferelnord, who has yet to die. Ferelnord has been roaming a little bit. He kind of went bottom lane angle, so he's been trying to set stuff up, and that's costing him some CS. But overall, Ocelot's not in a terrible position, albeit without the tower.
I'd counter that and say a lot of that's been the raids. He's been taking the raids out. Kevin has been caught a little bit by Kerp. Is going to track each other. The Dragon is not available, but the alternate are certainly stacking up down here. Hercubot's there. But he's going to back off, and Aranea is in position. No, they're going to actually turn around and face each other. Ferelnord's going to come around the side. Flashes straight away from that one. The explosive cask was thrown out. Not the explosive cask,
Venomous.
it's the poisonous venom cask. Oh, Ferelnord gets hooked in. Can they try Diamond? They catch him. Beautiful. Assault battery comes in. Requiem will follow. Have they got the damage on Ferelnord? He's taken so low. The poison's ticking, but it's not going to be enough. Nif, meanwhile, has been taken out by the passive of J-Ree. I believe actually J-Ree actually caught straight onto him. They do get a kill. It is going to be Creaton going down. It's Candy Panda to pick that one up. Ocelot and Kevin continuing to give chase. They will not catch Aranea though. And look at Kerp. He'd come around. He's actually looking for a fight. Gonna back away sensibly though.
Trading an AD carry for a support is definitely worth it, especially if SK can continue focusing down the tower. Now, Ocelot has managed to catch Kerp out, but he's going to be careful. Ocelot could be bursted down as Kerp has got his full combo available.
They're going to try and go for the tower. Look at this though. Kerp's not giving up on this one. He's going to go aggressive on towards Ocelot. Manages to lock him up. Ocelot tries to react, puts the exhaust down. Kerp doesn't catch him in the right time, and now he does. There's going to be the catch. Can Ocelot go down? He's going into the tower. 2 tower hits is going to come out. Ocelot survives. Is it going to be enough? Doesn't have anything to follow it up. Nif, I tell you what, hasn't got Ignite. Oh, I was going to say, I thought he could flash on towards Kerp.
Nif did such a good job at getting in range there with that shield. I think Ocelot still would have survived without it, but nevertheless was there at the right time, ironically because he died in the bottom lane fight and was able to save Ocelot. But once again, the exhaust has been used, and Kevin forced to run just a little bit further away to get to safety.
So they've tried to switch. No, they haven't tried to switch. They're just defending, simply put. They did take a turret. Let's get back to that. SK took the bottom turret out. That's their first objective. They needed to take that. Now they need to defend this bottom one. Candy Panda returns to it. Creaton is still pushing, and Aranea is in the location. Dragon will be spawning in around about 2 minutes time, I believe it is the time. I'm trying to think of when it actually
It'll
went
be
down.
19:30 exactly when it's back up.
So there we go, 3 minutes time, 1 minute time in fact. And it will be started. So that will be the next focus target. Pink wards come out, of course. Damage continues. Nif needs to get that gold.
At this point in time, Nif is going to be very, very key for securing a pick or a kill for alternate. After the Assault and Barrier lands, Nif needs to follow it up with a death sentence, and then everyone else from SK has to pile on because it's single target stuns. You've got single target from Renekton, single target from Vi, and single target from Threshers. Candy's been caught, but he pulls us up safety.
Takes the dark passage, gets away. Dragon up in 30 seconds. Aronair starts to clean out and defend the river. He does manage to put that pink ward down. Nif winds up the chain. He's going to see if he can get on towards Aronair. Not really the focus target. The rest of SK are collapsing down here. For Rellenlord maybe walking into a bit of a trap here. He's going to try and go aggressive on Nif. Does he realize the rest of the team are around the corner? Tries to use himself as bait. Maybe a little bit too much. And instead, Alternate quickly popped down the kill. Dominus pop from Kevin, but the rest of the team not reacting. Jenna Corruption misses. Alternate catching him out nicely. SK, they were setting up for a trap, but the rest of the team were not on the same page.
Yeah, I don't really like those split engagements. Now, Requiem is available, but Dominus is not. Yeah, Kevin just returned back to normal form, and Aronair's waiting to set something up. He's baiting this, implying, come and check the pit, and he's dived on Hercubot.
He's dived in towards Hercubot. Look at Kevin going back in. He's going to get focused down, dropped straight away. Ocelot tries to get aggressive, but this is the end, surely, for SK Gaming. They have to evacuate this fight. It is not going to go their way. Zhonya's Hourglass already picked up by Kerb. That's going to be Kratos on the piercing arrow, finishing off Hercubot. Instead, they're going to go Blue Bot. Then they're going to go Dragon. Alternate completely in control of that fight.
I cannot agree with the engage from SK Gaming. They were so afraid of losing Dragon. They were down a man, and they went in there without their ultimates available. At the very least, Ocelot could have backed off, channeled Requiem, and then gone in if they were a little lower. But instead, they just went in sort of drips and drabs and got picked off by alternates.
It's almost like desperation, trying to create plays, trying to force something, trying to get an advantage, and instead it's just backfiring every step of the way. It's almost a 5,000 gold advantage between the two, and SK may well walk into another trap.
Yeah, as it stands right now, Nif is just trying to ward up this Tribush. There's no tower in this bottom lane to push out, so Candy Panda and Nif are just here to pick up some CS. I think that at this point in the game, they should be considering moving lanes, going middle or going top, and trying to take down some alternate towers to try and claw back this very big goal difference.
So let's have a look what they brought out, because that Zhonya's Hourglass, I believe, actually caught SK out as well as me. I knew they were building it, didn't realize he had it already, along with those Sorcerer's Boots that he now picked up. Kirby's doing a fantastic job, 2-0-2. But look at Aronair, 4-0-4. It's how he started. This was the combo. They had Lissandra, they had this in. Kraton's just doing what he does as best as he can, and J-Ree's helping him get that KDA stacking out. It's all working for Alternate right now.
Yeah, at this point in time, Alternate have got very good control, and Kevin is going to jump onto Aronair in a moment. He's got Hercubot behind him, and the key for Alternate to maintain control of this game is just to continue warding and maintain vision control. As long as they don't get caught out, and as long as they don't actually... oh, very good, another ward picked up. As long as Alternate don't overstep their safety net, they should continue to pick up picks like this, as now the Claw of Doom goes out.
Assault and Battery catches onto that Claw of Doom there. They're going to try and close down Kurt, but he's quickly saved. Aronair goes in, just like, yep, guys, we got you covered. 4 members of SK trying to set a trap, but Alternate with 2 members spring it.
Yeah, so Assault and Battery used, it's about a 2-minute cooldown, just shy of that, so Hercubot's going to be a little bit slower on the pace as far as ganks are concerned from here on out. And you do see that Candy Panda and Nif had made their way to the top lane. I think their focus was also towers. Let's try and push these outer towers down and make it a little more difficult for Alternate to stay extended.
They are continuing to try and defend this one, and Alternate are not backing off here. They're hook on towards Aronair. Is it going to be enough? No. Safeguard straight away from that one. Takes 2 tower hits. Spray and Pray was popped there by Candy Panda, and they didn't get close to following through.
And as I talked about during the previous Dragon fight, if Nif lands a hook, Kevin has to follow up with a stun, and Hercubot ideally should follow up with an ultimate, because they've only got single target CC, and Nif is caught.
Charm on Nif once again. He's going to go down. Does manage to get his box in the right time, but Kevin's going to be the next focus. Requiem's coming to come out, but it's not doing a great deal of damage. Kevin's so low, trying to run away from this one. Hercubot's safe on the turret, but that turret is very low as well. Look at Ferrandlord continuing, the orbs going down. They try and bring Kerp in towards the tower. Kevin's got nowhere to run. Ferrandlord chases in there. Kerp throws in the Claw of Doom and gets a double kill.
4 for 0 on a tower dive from Alternate. Even with Requiem coming in, SK Gaming simply did not have what was required to put the damage down. And Alternate are extending that 5,000 gold lead to a 7,000 gold lead. And if SK Gaming continue to give up kills and objectives this easily, the gold difference is going to become insurmountable very, very quickly.
Well, it's already at 7,000, which is pretty damn huge coming into the 24-minute mark. have Alternate secured themselves a place in the playoffs. It would almost be rude to say the team that was top for 6 weeks can't make it. It's that crazy situation that we've had in the European LCS, and it was possible. But right now, SK Gaming are going to have to create something. They've tried to create these issues, and it's actually backfired, and that's almost what's put them in this situation in the first place. So do they go defensive? Do they pull into a turtle shell?
They should have been defensive a little while ago, and I think... I'm going to go out and limb you. I think they should have considered a different top laner. I'm not seeing Renekton work in this composition right now. There's not enough area of effect crowd control. There's not enough control coming out of the SK team. They simply cannot stick to the very mobile team of Alternate for long enough to make their damage stick. And, you know, Candy Pan has thrown out a couple of spray and prays. They've been lackluster. They haven't hit multiple targets. They haven't been impactful, and now Ocelot's in trouble.
Ocelot's in all sorts of trouble. The DFG comes out from Lord. He gets pulled away on his dark passage and gets dropped during flight. Not really what you're looking for. Curb gets hooked in, but I don't think you want him because he's just going to turn around and smash you in the face. And that's another kill picked up by Curb. All so easy for Alternate right now. J-Ree puts down that turret, and they are on towards the inhibitor turret already in the bottom lane.
It's not over. There are so many minions here for Alternate that they're going to be able to pick this tower up. And with 20-second death time is coming out for SK Gaming, they can stick around for the inhibitor as well. Inhibitor number 1 of potentially the final knockout game of the split is underway.
And there it goes. Alternate now in full control of this game, and SK Gaming, they are in desperate times, and it is not looking good for the SK Gaming faithful. They have had to put up with it. They've believed. They've tried to give faith between Ocelot and the boys, and it's worked so well. Candy Panda's played immaculate throughout this super week, but so far it is backfiring horribly on them.
It is heart-wrenching to think that you can go 3-2 on the weekend, play arguably the best game that we've seen out of all 20 against Ninjas in Pajamas, and it's the game against Alternate, who are 0-5, that actually gets you knocked down to relegation. But all's fair in love and war, and right now, Alternate are simply making better decisions, making them count, and with 10 seconds on the Dragon, that's definitely where Alternate are going to be grouping up and trying to challenge in these next moments.
Alternate also warding out the Baron. They have bigger plans right now. It's actually the mid lane. They're just piling straight up it. They've seen Nif well out of position. They've seen the top lane, and they're thinking, look, you've left this inner turret wide open for us. Why not just come straight in here with Creaton and friends, and they may be able to do that. The rest of the team claps in around it. Clara Doom comes around. Curb just bullies them away. He gets hooked in, but we've seen it already, Nif. That's not the target you want. He will just turn around and destroy you.
And more importantly, Kevin was still in the top lane, so even if Nif wanted to dive in, that was going to be a 4 versus 5 at the best of times. There are no home guard boots in Kevin, so with the recall and the positioning, he's trying to get in range for the Dragon. SK may look to challenge this one. They're sitting close to the river, but they've backed off.
That would be suicide. Open suicide. Charging in against a team that's 12,000 gold ahead of you, that smashed you 16-3. There's a 7-0-4 Lissandra in there. A 2-0-7 Rabadon's Death Cap, Deathfire Grasp for Lord. Aranea, he's unstoppable. 5-0-7. He's just been bouncing around SK Gaming like they're a little bit of kindergartens right now, and Alternate are the big adults beating them around.
As it stands, Aranea is going to be incredibly pumped for this game. Playing against SK, we touched on the history, we touched on how impactful, you know, these two teams are both confidence-driven. And as it stands, Alternate with all the confidence in the world, 12,000 gold lead, they now group up as a 5-man unit in this top half of the jungle, and they're going to be focusing down the last inner turret for SK Gaming.
And we've talked about teams struggling to break down these outer turrets, struggling to penetrate the defenses, going drawn into that Baron fight, but 27 minutes gone, an inhibitor already down, all of the outer turrets down. Alternate do not have that problem. They've come into this game, they were sat watching the last match, they didn't use the time to practice, they simply focused, they simply discussed it, they simply watched Fnatic Gambit and absorbed the situation.
Alternate have never needed trouble finishing, and then they catch Ocelot.
Chain of Corruption on towards Ocelot, gets bounced in the air, Stranglethorn's doing its job. And just like that, they're going to turn it around. Spray and pray. Candy Panda, can he do it? There's going to be Requiem. This could be a lot of kills taken out. SK Gaming, no! The Zhonya's comes out. Hercubots gets locked up. And it's another 2 for 1. SK Gaming in trouble now. Oh, the piercing arrow, not quite enough to take Candy Panda out.
If Kerp had followed through the Claw of Doom and landed one more of those shards, it would have been enough to pick them up. That is a team fight I don't want to use the word win, but a team fight survival and a flash out of Kevin.
But why?
I don't see any other flashes burned. I didn't see who he was trying to catch. Creatine managed to get away. He may have flashed as well, as the cooldown is fairly short, but, you know, flash burned.
I think it was just as there's a teleport going back. I think it must have been Jerry. Must have been Jerry just about to back off. Jerry, by the way, is 1-0-13. Now got himself a haunting guys as a Zyra.
I'm happy to see that as well, because there is so much damage potential from support Zyras. We haven't seen much ability power being built throughout the course of this super week on Zyras, but it's such a good itemization, especially now that you no longer have to build that runic bulwark. That gold can be sunk into something more impactful.
Well, Nif just getting a little bit of tit for tat from RNA, just saying, hi, I'm here, I'm keeping you away from the Baron. Throws out the kick once again. Nif, you cannot win this fight. You're just trying to bait him in there. Herkybot tries to pull it. Ooh, he lands it once again. Doesn't get drawn into flying through the air, chasing him. Super Minions in that bottom wave is continuing to push. Candy Panda was out of position, trying to clear them out. That means for Unlord, they've got themselves a good bit of time here while they're in a 4v5 situation.
As this stands, SK Gaming will have their inhibitor up in the not too distant future. However, they need to pull off another defense. This time round, they do not have Requiem available. Dominus is still on cooldown, so there is a power window here for Alternate. We'll see when or how they want to pick the fights.
They've bought themselves a lot of time and a lot of damage on that turret already. Alternate are going to try and drive this one through. They wipe out the wave, no problem at all. SK Gaming struggling out there, trying to keep them away. Every time those plants get thrown out, they buy themselves some time. The turret is going to go down. There is the second inhibitor turret of the game. We're only 30 minutes in.
Ocelot was defending against Super Minions and he still doesn't have Requiem. Another 20-odd seconds before it's available, and Alternate have set their sights on the top lane inhibitor as the bottom one has respawned. They've managed to secure that, and the mid lane tower's gone down thanks to Minions.
Minions take down the middle turret. They were desperately trying to defend it, but that is 3 exposed inhibitors now. The middle one is already going into a taken down by Alternate. Top one down already. They're going to just rotate round to the bottom. SK have to fight. They have to go in. It's a good wall of pain. It's a good chain of corruption. Spray and pray working from the backside, but they just simply don't have the damage anymore. Kerp, he's going hammer time on towards them. Ocelot tries to come in. Requiem still up. There it is. Is it going to be enough to do the damage? No, it's not. Gets one. Not a single kill. I don't believe it. And that surely is all she wrote for SK Gaming. They're going to be going into the relegation brackets. Alternate are going to be through to Gamescom. They're through to the playoffs. They are going to be delighted with the result. It's been a disastrous Super Week for them. They went 0-5, but when it counts, they took down SK Gaming. The Nexus is will drop. No, is it going to be turning out? No, it's not. Candy Panda just gets roasted like the rat he is.
At this point in time, Alternate did absolutely everything right. They managed to turn it on for the game that counted. They managed to show up in the very, very last match of the summer split before the tiebreakers for second to fifth. And as it stands, you can see RNA is delighted. 6-0-11 on Lee Sin. Maybe he shouldn't have played Vi earlier.
But look at that. Kerp, that's where RNA ran to. Like you say, 6-0-11. Kerp, 9-0-7. He was the one that came down. He was the one that caught Ocelot off guard. Him and RNA combined. It's been a great Super Week for SK Gaming, but unfortunately it means they are now into the relegation match, which will be happening later on in the year. Realization has finally struck home. It's been a fantastic tournament for them, but wow. What a turn of events. Alternate 0-5 in Super Week. Turn on the performance when it counts. 23-4 was the overall kill score. They just dominated, and you see what it means. RNA are back in the playoffs.
As it stands, he's back on the same stage he was at last year round. However, wearing different colors, flying a different flag. You know what? If he gets to play Lee Sin, he may be able to prevent going 0-5 for his team. Congratulations to Alternate. They placed 6th in the summer split League of Legends Championship Series. A heartbroken Herkybot and Ocelot. You have to feel for them after their phenomenal performance this weekend. But it was too little too late.
And the irony is, the first game of the Super Week, like I said, we talked about the confidence that SK Gaming had built from that. How Ocelot had played on Karthus in that match. How it had all worked out for them. Maybe Lee Sin was that key.
I also think that picking Thresh very early on and allowing Zyra to get taken away later may also have cost them. Against that very mobile Lee Sin and Lissandra and Ari, if they had had a Zyra Karthus as their #1 and #2 pick, that may have been enough time and crowd control to actually lock down the game. Unfortunately, the Thresh pick just didn't lock people up for long enough, and it didn't work out.
And ironically, we didn't really get a chance to talk about Frenlord too much on Ari. 3-1-13. He's not had a great super week, but actually played pretty damn well in that match.
Solidly. He completely controlled Ocelot. In that mid lane, every time Aranea showed his face or anything similar, Frenlord's pressure and presence against Ocelot was so apparent. It was palpable how scared Ocelot was. He was hanging all the way back, farming behind his turret. And I think they dived him, what, 4, 5 times before the roaming game started.
Kept him under control. So that's the first of many games to come. The tiebreak decision has been sorted. Alternate now are 6th. They finished. They're into the playoffs. SK Game in 7th. They're going to get to choose, secondly, who they play in the Challenger Series and the Promotion Series, which will be happening later in the year. Keep your eyes peeled on that. But more importantly, it's Alternate. They're into Gamescom. We're going to go over to Joe and Jason to take us through the dominant performance that Alternate just showed us.
Thanks a lot, guys. And it really was a dominant performance as well. I mean, I don't know where this Alternate had been all weekend, but they turned up when it really mattered.
Yeah, they really did. And you have to give a lot of credit to RNA and Kerp in that game. I mean, RNA finished off 6-0-11. Kerp finished off 9-0-7. And what they did was, Asa was on his Karthus again. Had a fantastic weekend, or super week on Karthus. They just shut him down. They're just like, all right, every time we have an opportunity, let's kill him. Let's get rid of that Karthus ultimate. Let's not let him get to that point where his ultimate can really change these fights around. And with that, they would just go, they would kill someone, they would take an objective. For instance, they'd kill Ocelot, took Dragon right after. Arena then took Blue. Like, they constantly punished SK for any minor mistake that they possibly made.
What do you think to the whole team composition there from SK? Because Quickshot mentioned that the real problem that they had was a lack of control. There was nothing really there to hold Alternate down in any circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, their big CC was the Vi ultimate mixed in with the box coming out of Thresh, and that's just about it. I mean, you need... I can understand the Thresh Karthus combo, because Karthus goes in, if you trap them in the box in his defile, then they're going to take a lot of damage, but, you know, they don't have anyone else like Jarvan to maybe hold him in there. They don't have a real, like Quickshot was saying, like you're saying, just to hold them down to pretty much force them into the CC, where you look at, you know, Alternate side, they had the Grass Roots with Zyra, they had the Stranglethorns out of that, they had the Chain of Corruption, they had the Charm out of Ahri, they had the Lee Sin Kick, which technically is a form of CC, and of course they had Lissandra, who is a CC master, and it was just really unfortunate that SK couldn't pull out the victory that they really needed, and now they're going to be going into relegation.
Yeah, they got a lot of time to really, you know, prepare for that relegation now, and they probably need it as well. I mean, they're going to be heartbroken, I think, from that one, because missing out on the playoffs means no shot then at the World Championships, and obviously that's what everyone's here for.
Yeah, and they were there last year. To not be there this time, it really has to hurt. And also, we do have to say, since they finished 7th, they get to pick their team that they want to play in the Promotion Series. So MWM doesn't get a choice. They get stuck with whoever it is, but they get their choice. And obviously, the team that gets knocked out from the playoffs will obviously have that first pick. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of time to train. And knowing Ocelot, knowing all of SK, they're going to take this time and really use it well.
Well, to speak of SK Gaming, we have Ocelot sat with Shocks along with Aranea.
Thank you very much. I'm joined both by Aranea and Ocelot, two sides of the coin here, and of course, a bittersweet combination. Let me start with you, Aranea. You know, going into this game, after the terrible, terrible super week you've had, how are you able to pick yourself back up?
Well, actually, like, after every game, we went all together to a room to analyze the games. And we saw like so many individual mistakes, and not only individual mistakes, also like item build. Like we were doing like so many wrong stuff, and we were trying like to improve like what should we do and stuff. But I think after like the first lose against SK, we started like getting down, and the mood was like so down. I was trying to pump everyone up, but it was like really hard for us because we knew that we weren't like playing that good lately, and everyone was playing really good, and we were scared at all. And at some point, like when we were like 0-3, I was like, yeah, we have to play against NiP and EG, even though they are like favorable matchups against us that we won in, before in the LCS. I was really scared, and I thought like we could lose 2 games. And then I think like at the moment that we were like cheering in the game between NiP and SK, like our only chance was like NiP winning against SK on a game that like was almost 1-1 SK, right? And at that moment when NiP took the victory, we just like went crazy, went super happy and said like, okay, this is our time. And we were like completely like motivated to this match.
Okay, and then Carlos, as Alvar touched on it, you won against Alternate, you won against 3 teams, and tell us what happened from there.
Well, I think we were very prepared for this week. Very, very prepared. I think we are a very good team right now, honestly. I think we play very good. But after the Gambit loss, which happened because of a gamble, which happened like one game every 1,000 games, our mood went totally down. I know it shouldn't be like that, but our mood was really, really down. And when you get into that bad momentum, it's really hard to come back from that. So I think that was the detonation point. Yeah, so I think we lost it there. We lost it against Gambit. And I'm actually pretty sad because of that.
Yeah, let me ask you both about momentum, because both coming off a loss, but I have the feeling that for SK Gaming, because it was so incredibly close in that game before against NIP, that it must have been even harder for you guys.
Well, the game against NIP was pretty much won, meaning that we are most likely in playoffs, and it didn't happen. There's nothing I can say. I mean, if I look at the past, it doesn't help. Right now I'm very sad. I'm going to be honest, okay? I'm very, very sad, but I'm not going to show it. I'm just thinking about present and future. Today, try to chill, because I deserve to chill, to be honest. Even though we are not qualified, my whole team deserves to chill and to feel good because we played very good. I'm very, very happy with my teammates. All of them played very good. Nothing else to say.
Okay, maybe a couple of things about the game, Aranea, going into that, picks and bans. Was it just like we're going to pick what we feel comfortable on and we're just going to roll with it?
Actually, like, we spec like some bands, and then in the moment that like Listen was open, I was like, first pick, I want that. It's like, I don't know, 1.5 months that I didn't play Listen in the LCS, and in the moment like I can get it, it's like, just get me please, because I really like it. And it worked out pretty well for us, even though like the bottom lane failed a bit early game. I managed to like try to camp that lane and snowball in that lane, and after that like it was like mid and bot snowballing and top roaming a lot, and I think top probably Curb did the best game of our team.
Yeah, he had an incredible game, didn't he? It was very hard to deal with.
Yeah, like especially mid was really even at some point. Actually, he was a bit behind, and I was very happy. And suddenly I see Arane going aggressive on me, and I was like, this is not normal because I was in base. And suddenly Curb appears. Kevin couldn't call the miss. I don't know, maybe he thought he based or something. And I just didn't expect the gank. And, you know, if Ari snowballs, especially against Akarus, it's really, really hard to come back against. So, really, they played better than us.
So, for you guys both, paths going into the future, very different for you. First off, Gamescom, just a couple of days. This was a great victory, but you have a lot of work to do.
We have a lot of work. Like right now, these teams are going to play like 6 more matches, sorry, and we're gonna decide who is gonna play against us because we play against the third in the LCS, and it's gonna be quite exciting. I think like everyone is gonna play amazing games tonight, and I'm looking forward to see who are gonna be our enemies, to start analyzing the games, to start analyzing like bans and picks, and start like focusing on Gamescom, even though it's like really close time to it.
Right, and Carlos.
Well, right now talking in the name of SK, I can say that we will, of course, these days chill a little bit, but of course we want to qualify again for the next season. And about SK is going to be always all right because it's SK Gaming. We will always have very good players in here. We will always deliver for the fans because we got actually one of the biggest fan bases all over the world, with or without me. And that's it. The future for both SK, me, my teammates even, it's gonna be very good. And of course I'm sad right now, but I'm very happy looking at the future and looking at the new doors opening for our team. Everything is gonna be all right.
I have to say that it's pretty sad that the LCS doesn't allow 7 teams because I really think that SK deserves to be on Gamescom.
All right. Well, thank you very much, the two of you, for taking the time to talk to me. Thank you very much, guys.